Today we're going to be talking about the difference between a wide toe box shoe and a wide shoe. We get this question all the time from our patients, and can I just buy a wide shoe instead of having to get a whole new shoe or go with a new brand? And unfortunately, they are just not the same thing. So let's talk about it. First of all, the reason that we need to have a wide toe box is because in order for the toes to be in proper alignment with the bones behind them, called the metatarsals, we need to be able to splay our toes. When we're in a shoe that restricts the position of the toes or brings them inwards, can you see how that's going to change not only the alignment of these joints, but also the function of the foot? For example, would you rather balance on a foot that looks like this or a foot that looks like this? The wider support you have, the more balance you're going to have, the more muscle engagement you're going to have. We also have this beautiful built-in mechanism called the Tiebar Mechanism in the foot. So essentially what happens is when the foot hits the ground and the toes start to spread, we get this tension along the forefoot. That's going to put tension on our deep transverse intermetatarsal ligament. Then we're going to get a reflexive tension on the plantar fascia because they essentially create this T. Along with that, we're going to start to contract the muscles underneath the foot. We have 4 built-in layers of muscles inside the foot called your intrinsic muscles. And all of this works with spreading the toes. So now that we know the importance, let's talk about the difference. First of all, when I have 2 different shoe shapes here, can you see how this shoe is going to have a more tapered toe box? Even though it's a more athletic shoe, it still has a toe box that's shaped more like a triangle versus this shoe, which has a more fitted midfoot, but has a larger shape at the toe. So it's going to allow space for the ball of the foot and for the toes to lay in a straighter position. So this is going to be a more traditional shoe. This is going to be a wide toe box shoe. Now, if I take a more traditional shoe and get it in a size wide, all that's going to do is create more width, mostly at the midsole. They're going to accommodate for a wider midfoot. It's not going to change the shape of the toe box. So by creating width here, we're still not going to be allowed to spread those toes. Versus here, where we have a shoe that actually allows for the spreading of the toes. Another question that we get is, can I just get this shoe in a bigger size? And again, unfortunately, the answer is no, because what's going to happen is if you get this in a bigger size, this shoe is designed to be widest at the ball of the foot. That's going to make it a little bit longer, which will shift that width up just a hair, just slightly, which will give a little bit more width at the toes, but really still is not allowing for the splaying of the toes at the tips of the toes where we need it. And now, when you have a longer shoe, you're going to start to have to accommodate for that. So we may see more tripping because the shoe is a little bit too long for you, or we may start to see some gripping of the toes, some hammering of the toes, because you're trying to control a shoe that's simply just too big for you. So the short version is a wide toe box, more natural fit, is a healthier shoe than a more traditional tapered toe box. And unfortunately, getting a traditional shoe in a size wide or bigger size does not create this shape.